Good morning, everyone. So this episode is going to be about it's going to be about sort of trauma responses, and specifically about sexual abuse, especially childhood sexual abuse, because I think it's important that because a lot of the problems, depression, anxiety, etc., that we are facing right now is because of repressed childhood memories. And that is because our mind, psychologically, our brain is, or not psychologically, from an evolutionary standpoint, our brain's defense mechanism kicks in when we experience a trauma that we cannot handle. And something like sexual abuse, especially during childhood, is a trauma that your mind cannot handle. So it protects yourself by erasing that not erasing the memory, by blocking that memory. So I still don't have a memory of what happened to me, but my body remembers. My body remembered. That's how I knew. And that's how I ended up making an appointment with a somatic psychotherapist who, and when I explained my symptoms to her, she said, yes, that's what happened to you. And that's the first time that someone actually told me, yeah, you're right. Because I spent months gaslighting myself when I started to realize what had happened, sort of denying it to myself, because the possibility of what had happened and who had done it was horrible. But I could not ignore what my mind was telling me. My intuition was screaming at me that this happened to you, and this is why you can't sleep. This is why you never feel safe. This is why you can't sleep in your own home. This is why you have an excessive startle reflex where if something happens suddenly in your periphery, you jump like you're about to be, stabbed or something. This is why you fear the dark. This is why you have trust problems. This is why you can't relax. This is why you don't feel safe around men. This is why the thought of sex both excites and traumatizes, it scares, terrifies you. So it's time that we stop avoiding and start facing it, because it's not about demonizing the perpetrators, because more often than not, the person who does this is doing it because in their childhood this is what happened to them, and because they'd never healed from it, they carry that trauma forward, and they become the abused, become the abuser, and the vicious cycle continues. And I'm determined to break that generational curse. I am the one who has broken that generational curse in my family bloodline, my lineage, and I'm determined to share my story so that other people can also break that curse, so that we don't pass this on to the next generation. So this may be triggering, but you know what? Triggers are good, because when you get triggered, you have to sit with those emotions, and that's the only way you can get to the healing. If you avoid it, you're not going to heal. If you avoid it, you're going to keep doing what you're doing, and you're going to end up repeating the cycle. So for the next generation, you have to sacrifice your momentary comfort and go through that horrible, horrible healing process that hurts like hell and feels like the end of the world. But I'm here to tell you that there is light at the end of that tunnel, that if you keep doing it, keep going, you will get to the end of it, and you will be able to put it behind you. Of course, it's always going to be there, but you will heal from it. And once you heal from it, you'll be in a position where you can actually heal others too. And there's nothing more sacred than being able to heal other people just by sharing your knowledge or being you. Because you are a unique, wonderful human being. And you're a survivor, because if you're listening to me, you're a survivor. And most often than not, you are your own worst enemy. Because that's what I was. I hated myself. I blamed myself for everything. I thought I was the worst person in the world. I thought I was worthless. I was nothing. I felt like I'd earned my place in the world. I wish I'd never been born. But all those feelings are a reflection of the beautiful soul that you are. And I'm here to tell you that none of those feelings are your fault. It's a reflection of how disgusting the world has become. And it's time for the good souls, the pure souls, to heal and find your voice. Find your voice, share your truth, and for that, you have to face the truth. You have to stop avoiding, stop finding another addiction or something else to fill the gap, and start looking at what has happened to you, realizing that it was wrong, you didn't deserve that, healing from it, and then getting to a point where you stop blaming the person who did that to you, and understanding that it's a reflection of their own wounds, their own unhealed self, and then letting go of all that pain, all that hurt, all that misery, and realizing that doesn't define you. What happened to you is something that happened to you. It doesn't define you. It doesn't define who you are and who you're going to be. So, what are the signs that you may have been sexually abused? You're always in survival mode. Your body never relaxes. You feel your tension in your shoulders, in your arms, and I actually feel it right now. I hadn't had the need to do somatic therapy on myself for a while. But I mean, before, when I first started, my body would be like rigid, and it would actually hurt because of how rigid it was, my arms and shoulders especially, and right now I'm experiencing maybe 1/10 of that feeling. If you want to know how to do somatic therapy, I have talked about that. I will go through that I've been through that in a video. It's on my YouTube channel. Look for it. I think I named it somatic therapy or something like that. I can't remember, but it's there. It will be quite far down the list, I think. I think it's part of the blueprint. Anyway, so that's one thing. So I have a memory. I don't have any memories from before I was 5 years old, even though I have clear memories of when I was 5 and I was starting my school in India. I have lots of memories of that, but before 5 years old, I have nothing. Even when I looked at pictures of me being in reception in the UK, in Wolverhampton, there's nothing there. So it's a block. So there's something happened there. Another thing, apart from the body tension, the survival mode, nightmares, childhood nightmares, I had those. Fear of the dark, bedwetting after the age of, toilet training. So I was toilet trained, but then I would wet my bed up until I was 10 years old, or maybe a bit more. I had to use nappies and stuff, and I couldn't go to sleepovers, and it was a horrible experience. What else? And then things that I've told you before, excessive startle reflex, excessive sort of waking up from at night with your heart pounding. That happens. It still happens. fear of relationships, avoiding intimacy in relationships, or avoiding, and I don't mean avoiding sex, I mean avoiding emotional intimacy. Although you may also be avoiding sex, or you may be hypersexual. It could be both, or either or. And then also like vaginismus, I guess, which again I have. It hurts if I try to pleasure myself. If and I don't need to tell you that it'll hurt even if I do more than that. So that's another thing. Yeah. Okay, right now that's what I've got. But if you want, you can always look more into the signs of sexual abuse. That's basically what I did, because I was like, did this actually happen to me? So I looked it up, looked at the signs of child sexual abuse, and a lot of these things came up, and I was like, oh shit. So that's why I had this. That's why I was like that. Because I didn't know. I thought, I didn't think there was anything wrong, or I guess I never really thought too much about it. And that's another defense mechanism. Your brain doesn't let you think too much about it. And I just blocked it off. I just compartmentalize, I guess. That's how I survive, by compartmentalizing stuff. So I don't have to deal with everything at the same time. Because if I try to deal with everything at the same time, then I won't be able to do anything. Okay, that's it for now. I just want to say again, if this resonates, I'm so sorry for what happened to you. And I hope that this is the beginning of your healing journey. Just like a few months ago, I started my healing journey. And I've finally crossed the peak of it. I'm over the peak of it, and now things are better. But I have to be honest, it's not easy. It's very painful. It's horrible. You'll be sobbing your heart out more days than not. But I promise you that with every tear you shed, you will release more and more of the pain and the trauma, until you become, well, I wouldn't say I'm not fully healed, but I am maybe 85% there, I would say. I can still feel there are things that need healing, and I need to give myself the time and compassion to do that. But right now, that's sort of the that's where I'm at. And yeah, anyways, I'm gonna stop now. Take care.